Kuna balobe baby kuna balobe suki
Hi everybody, this is Wendy Lovejoy of the YellowLetterMentoring.com, and I want to thank you for making it to another one of our weekly trainings. I am going to share a little bit of real estate investing information. So again, thank you for those that consistently join us. I am the founder of the Yellow Letter Mentoring Program, and oh, I see a couple of my favorite people. Thank you, AJ. I see Anthony and Marcus Spencer. How are you guys? Anthony, thank you for the hearts and love as always. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Appreciate you. But today's topic for the Yellow Letter Mentoring is working and choosing the right real estate agent for your investing business. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Choosing the right real estate agent. I drank water from the bottle at one of the speaking engagements I had, and somebody said, oh, you should always have a glass, but I don't mind drinking right out of the bottle. So thank you for joining us. If you are really focused on building your real estate investing business, then you want to take some of the things that I share on this platform and put them to work. And I'm still, anxiously looking forward for the day. Some of the people that come to my live trainings are consistently saying, as soon as I get my funds together, I'm going to go ahead and join the program and work closer with you. But the fact that you're here means a lot. So we are talking about getting the right real estate agent. So you guys know, if you follow me, I always start with mindset before we talk about the do's and don'ts of real estate. And one of the things I want to talk about today is not giving up. And not just not giving up, but continuing to do the activities that you need to do to keep your business growing. That's so important. You really have to commit to doing the work. If you follow me on the Durban's Daughters prayer call, yesterday our topic is wealth consciousness, and we were discussing, the week before, that first you have to understand that God wants to get a profit on his investment, and you are that investment. He deposited you to the earth so that you can accomplish some things with your life, and he wants a return on that investment that is called you. So that's what we talked about the week before. This past week we talked about the fact that you've got to stay active. You can't be a person that thinks it's okay to, not, hey Vanessa, you can't think it's okay to be a person that says you want to be wealthy and then you don't put in the actions for the work necessary. One of the things we talked about on the prayer call is that you may feel that you really don't want to be a real estate agent or investor, but if you want to see your family profitable, invest in some property so that it will benefit your household. Invest in some property so your kids can grow up in a great neighborhood. I really don't think that you have to become a top agent, but it's good to have those thoughts, those visions, those dreams of becoming a top producer, either as an agent or an investor. So again, I encourage you to not look at real estate as something that is for other people, but be open to doing real estate, to connecting with people that can help you to move forward in closing some deals. But one of the things I wanted to share is that, as a Christian or a person that says you don't believe in God, or you believe in God, but you really don't know if you were meant to be successful or not, the fact that you're on this earth and still breathing, you have an opportunity to fix whatever may be going on with you. And then you also have the opportunity to take your financials to another lifestyle, another level. And you have to do that by doing the work. You got to be willing to do the work. You can't be a person that just says, you know what, I'm going to watch other people and, because you really don't know what is truly going on with other people, but you know what's going on with yourself. And the best way to make changes for your life is to stay committed to starting a business. And one of the best businesses is to become a real estate investor. You can invest in any state. You can invest in any country. I was watching a show over the weekend of gentlemen that invest in Nigeria and how successful they've become. One of them started investing first in Atlanta, Georgia, and then moved there. But you can you can invest anywhere in the world as a real estate agent, a real estate investor. As an agent, you can only operate with your license in the state that you have a license in. Some states have reciprocal licenses, but you still have to, you're limited. But as an investor, you're not. So for those that are looking at being a real estate investor, I would really encourage you to make a decision that you're going to give it X amount of time, whether it's 9 months, 1 year, 2 years. I know for me, I said I was going to give it a lifetime when I got started because I just knew there were no options. And I saw results within the first 30 days. But I was a go-getter and a hard worker, and you put in extra effort. I don't know how many people listen to, one of my favorite people to listen to in the morning is Eric Thomas. And he's always saying that you really have to go after what you want. You really have to go after it, and you show that by the actions you take toward it. The actions you put out toward it. You can say you want to be wealthy and successful, but if you're not getting out of bed until, 2 o'clock in the evening, or you're not getting out of the house until 10 o'clock in the morning, there's people that are so hungry that they're up and out and talking to people already by 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. So you have to really commit to investing time and money into this industry. But some of the time and money you want to invest in is your education. And then the second part you want to invest in is to put some money out to, get your credit right so that you can buy some properties. But if you're looking at being an investor and, you want to wholesale or you want to bird dog for other people, you still can speak with real estate agents. But here's some tips I wanted to give you today, because when you're, I had a few people this week that said, well, I'm looking for a real estate agent, and I talked to this person and they just got started, or this person's had their license for a minute, but they really don't use it that much. And I feel like if I work with them, I can help them get more business, and then we can blow up together. But you don't want to think like that. One of the reasons Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry are having so much success is because both of them were the top in their field, and they got together to help each other. People that are showing that they're not committed to their own business are not going to be committed to yours. So I really encourage you, try to find the top producers in the area and work with them, and try to find people that you have been connected with for a moment, people that you have a relationship for a moment. Don't look for people that, they're brand spanking new in real estate and they really don't show you that they're committed to their own business. If a person is only going to do what's comfortable for them in their business, they're not going to go hard for you in yours. So one of the things you want to look at in real estate when you work with a realtor is I've learned to stay away from people that are brand spanking new. Hey, Breland, I see you, and thanks for the hearts. One of the things I look at in real estate, when I first started, I wanted to help out the newbie. But I realized from working as an agent in the New York area, the office I was at when I started as an agent, and this was centuries ago, okay? But this was a long time ago, and it was in the late 80s, early 90s. When I got started, this broker that I was with, Chuck McGill, he had over thousands of agents in his 5 offices. But somehow it was the top handful that were producing. And I decided I wanted to hang out with those people. So I say that to say this: if you're not hanging out with top producers, you're not going to become a top producer as quickly as you want to be. You still will become one if you put in the effort and you do the work, but you're not going to become one as fast as you could hanging out with other top producers, because they've already accomplished stuff. They learned what works and what doesn't work, and they can show you shortcuts. And so when I'm looking for a real estate agent to work with, I look at even some of the people who take my mentorship programs and see how they're working their own business, how committed they are, how are they coachable, or are they taking some of the information and then they're doing things their way, so they're not, or they're just watching some of the things that I suggest and then they duplicate it. I look at all of that. And then I look at the person that is really showing they're hungry and they're doing everything we say. They're marketing the way we say to market. They're, using the scripts and dialogues we suggest they use, because then you know that those people are committed to their business. And so when I look at that, I find that top producers will share stuff that newbies don't understand. And the other thing with a new agent, they're usually very afraid because they don't know all the legal guidelines of everything. So a lot of them are kind of nervous working with investors, or they might be too gung-ho to work with investors because they're looking at it like, oh, this person is a cash buyer. They don't really understand how wholesaling works or how a bird dog works. They just feel like, if I find you a house, you're gonna be able to get the financing for it. So they're either overly excited or they're kind of nervous because they really don't know about investing, and some people think real estate investing is illegal. So you want to be careful of that. I always say go after the seasoned realtor, somebody who's producing, somebody who has a relationship in the area that you're focusing on, and you see it. I will ask real estate agents, like, how do you spend your time? What I'm listening for is, are they networking? Are they going to meetups? Do they belong to a BNI? Like, what are they doing to grow their own business? How are they marketing their own business? Because if I'm a wholesaler and I give them a deal, it can't just be the traditional putting it online. How are they going to get my deal sold faster? So you want to have conversations with the real estate agent and ask them, like, what associations do you belong to? How many deals have you done in the past? How many have you closed? And out of those, how many have been your real estate investors? Do you own your own home? Because somebody that owns their own home is going to be a lot more committed to closing deals because they have a mortgage to pay. Sometimes people that are renting may not, and I'm not saying everybody that's renting is not going to be as committed, but a person that owns their own home can tell you how to close from their experience of closing. That was one of the things that I shared with my daughter. I said, before you get into real estate, don't look at the properties you've been given because, mom was been in real estate, but you want to close on your own home so you can tell people. And the thing is, when you close on your own home, you're going to attract the kind of buyer or seller that you have been when you were buying, and how you dealt with the seller from your home. So that's one of the things to look at. You want to choose somebody who has has experience in purchasing and closing on a property. And then you also want to find out, what does their broker tell them about working with investors? Because if their broker is telling them that it's not a good idea, then they can't even go to their broker and ask questions about getting the deal done the way that they should. So you want to ask these types of questions of the real estate agent that you're picking, because they're going to play a crucial part of taking your real estate investing business to the next level. The market is changing, especially in Atlanta, Georgia. It's changing in New York. There's a lot of states that the market is already changing because so many people are getting into real estate that it's become over flooded, and houses are not selling as quickly as they were before. So you really want an aggressive realtor that is already showing that they're productive, and not a realtor that's just going to put your house on MLS and they don't even understand what a pocket listing is, nor do they know how to promote a pocket listing. I love you too, Breland. So you want to make sure that you definitely understand the market, because you know, the other thing, the way you make money as a real estate investor is you've got to go to areas before other people go there. I remember in the early 2000s, I sold people homes in parts of Atlanta that some people were like, oh my God, I would never go there. The West End, downtown Atlanta, the 314 zip code. And some people were like, that is like, you know, a red light district. But the people that held on to those properties, the people that listened to me and purchased then, these houses were boarded up. The neighbor, I mean, you could go on 2 blocks and see everything on the block boarded up. People were running away from Atlanta because of you know, the way their financial situations were at the time. So it created a lot of havoc. But the people that listened and bought those homes and held on to them, those people have $1 million properties now. If you bought, and I was selling some of those houses as an investor, I was buying them for like, you know, $10,000 and reselling them for like $15,000, $20,000, and helping people put tenants in their properties through Section 8. And some people bought 5 properties from me at a time, and then some people bought and they ran away. They ran away from the market when they saw, like, you know, the market is changing. It is getting ready to take another shift. So you definitely want a real estate agent that's been in it for a while, that can ride the waves, or is connected with people that are, you know, where they can share what happens when the market goes down and when the market goes up. So you want to ask the real estate agent, you know, what kind of relationship do you have with your broker? What does your broker think about you working with investors? Do they have any trainings in your office for working with investors? How do they feel about, you know, investors and giving you properties? And how do they feel about you, you know, working with real estate investors? Because some of the new agents are also scared. As I mentioned before, they're scared because they really don't know all the rules and regulations. When you go to real estate to get your license, they teach you the technology or the technical part of real estate. It's like an attorney. When he goes to law school, he learns all the legalities, but he really doesn't know how to win a case until he goes into the courtroom. Same thing with a doctor. They tell you all the legalities of being a doctor. You know what the diseases are, what they look like, what they sound like, the different habits that are associated with a certain disease. However, you will not really know how to look at a person and say, wow, this is what they have. I can tell just by the way they cough or the way their eyes look. That comes with experience. And it's the same thing with the real estate agent. The new ones are afraid because when they go to take their license, they really don't know what it takes to close a deal. You know, they don't know what it takes to be a successful real estate agent until they go in the office and have a broker that works well with them. So another thing you want to look at when you're working with a real estate agent, you want to see what kind of deposits or good faith deposits they like to put on their contracts. Some people will say 500 is no problem, and then I know some offices that want 10% or a minimum of 5,000, no matter what the price of the property is. So you want to get these questions answered up front. I work in a lot of markets, and I know even in New York, you know, most people ask for huge deposits. But when you make friends and relationship with the investors that you're going to work with, relationships are key. And that's a lot deeper than networking. You network to open the door, but you keep in communication and you try to help the other person out that you've networked with so that you build a relationship. And once you build a relationship, people will do more for you than they would for somebody they're not in relationship with. So it's very, very important that you find out, you know, if this agent, what kind of deposits they take, and then have dialogue with them. Be open with your real estate agent. Don't be afraid to communicate with your real estate agent. Tell them the kind of deals you're looking for. Tell them how you work. Are you going to have double closings? Are you going to close the same day? Do you have hard money that is going to help you do the deal? Like, be open with your real estate agent and see if they understand what you're looking for. It took me a minute to find the agents that I work with now in the different areas that I focus on, but they know exactly how I work. I don't have to, you know, go back and forth with them over and over. They know what kind of properties I look for. So you build that relationship with the real estate agent that you're going to work with. And it doesn't matter if they invest as well, as long as they're not focusing on the same kind of criteria you're focusing on. You'll do a lot of deals together. So you also want to talk to the agent and find out when you put in a contract. You want to find out on every contract that you put in, what is the due diligence phase? That is the phase or the time frame that you can do your inspections. That is the time frame where you can back out of the contract and get your good faith deposit back. And that is very, very important, because you can have people that you know, you can put it in black and white that they're not going to get their deposit back, but when they don't, they could say, oh, you did them wrong, but they passed their due diligence time. So there's nothing legally binding you to receive your money back if you went beyond whatever time is in the contract.
They wanted some more cause I'm moving it hard like this. Oh, nah, nah, nah. And I tell them again, they be calling my phone like this. They know that it's hot when it's